should get started. With the matchup chart. As you guys can see, I have already placed the Echoes and also a few characters that I'm not sure about. And I would rather have these characters not on like losing or winning side, since I haven't played these characters. Some of these characters I've legit played like 0 to 5 games against offline, and some of them even online I have practically never played against them. But everyone here on this list I do intend on ranking. Maybe like 1 or 2 ends up being in the not sure tier, but I think all of these characters we should manage to rank. And yeah, as always, not really gonna look at chat too much while doing this, but a little bit, I guess, a little bit. Let's get started. And also, actually, one thing I should say, like, these, like, losing, winning, and so on, they don't super representate numbers. The only thing is, like, this category is matchups where I see, like, they could be losing, but it also could be winning, or even. Like, it's very hard for me to say. So, a few characters might end up in this category. But it's not that, like, necessarily losing means, like, 6-4 or 55-45. Like, this is just more to give, like, a rough idea of how I look at the matchups. So, yeah, don't try to, like, read too much into, like, numbers or whatever. Alright, so some matchups I see as winning. And yeah, also I might switch placements, like, you know, swap a character up or down a tier or whatever along the way. Livingstone, thank you for 3 months with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Actually, yeah, I'll start in this tier. I'm not sure if this tier will be necessary. But Mewtwo, I think, loses pretty heavily to Inkling. Mewtwo, a lot of his big disadvantages comes into play in this matchup. Inkling has a massive window for up air, which is very big. Mewtwo dies incredibly early. Yeah, 2 framing, also relatively good. I personally don't mind this matchup as Inkling whatsoever. So I think Inkling wins this matchup quite big. I'll say Ridley qualifies for this tier as well. Similar to Mewtwo, big target, easy to hit, combo food, also massive upper range. But I mean, like, in this game, like most matchups are still like winnable. But I still like to have like many tiers just to give like a bigger perspective on how I look at the matchups. Little Mac also qualifies winning. Like, even though Inkling can't like utilize the ground game as good as you can in like most matchups, Little Mac off stage is like a tragic story. And Inkling really excels at offstage play. Neutral, like, Little Mac do not really have too much neutral, besides like FD / non-platform stages. So yeah, that's quite rough for him. Wait, I'm just trying to fix something, but it's acting up weird. Alright, we should be good now. Yeah, other characters qualifying in this tier. Where do we have him? King K. Roll, not the top 3 character, the S tier character that some people thought at the start. Yeah, also a lot of these like bad traits, super big, combo heavy. His recovery, Inkling is actually like incredibly good at edge guarding K-Roll as well. Splat Bombs is working wonders. So even though his like up B has a bit of a hitbox, not really a problem for Inkling whatsoever. So you can like kind of position Splat Bombs so they can't like go directly underneath. And then if you try to go to the side, then of course you have Backer and Fair. Great ground movement, can dash under quite a few moves. Like the Cannonball, for example, you can dash under, so that's, you know, pretty good too. And all these super big characters, with the exception of like Rob, I guess, you have like also massive proper percentage range, so that's good too. So yeah, clearly a winning matchup. Clearly a winning matchup for Inkling. Ganondorf, I'll put here as well. Honestly, like I do feel like I'm saying like a lot of the repeated things, but it is because that's the case. Like same thing here, combo food. Hard for Ganon to like challenge Inkling on the ground. Off stage, he's very bad. It's like, sure, Ganon is like one of these characters that is very explosive, and if he gets like a few good reads, like it can be devastating. But over the course of a full set, that should very rarely happen. So yeah, also a very good matchup for Inkling for sure. Robin, I will put here. Again, like off stage, Robin is really, really bad against Inkling. Not quite as bad as like some of these other characters, but still quite bad. You die pretty early, and overall, Robin feels a little bit like gimmicky. You have some good things like the fire on the ledge, for example. But yeah, it's hard for Robin to contest Inkling on the ground, and it's like one of the swords that Robin has. Like you can only use it like what 10-11 times, and Inkling is like one of these characters that is the hardest to like utilize that against, since you are such a small target. So that's a good thing for Inkling in the matchup too. But I mean, like none of these matchups are like impossible. Just like, yeah, winning matchups. What else do we have? DK would probably qualify here. I will say his dash attack is actually like can be quite good to like interrupt the flow of Inkling's ground movement. So that's something he has that is quite a bit better than some of the other characters in this tier. But yeah, he still qualifies as like a good matchup for Inkling. Yeah, same reasons again. He's a little bit better than some of the characters here too to contest the back air, but it's still very clearly not enough. Pit, winning matchup too. I feel like Pit is just like way too basic. You don't have like any type of explosiveness. You're like mediocre in pretty much all areas. I guess like off stage you're quite good, but that's pretty much it. Hard time dealing with the backer, hard time dealing with the off stage play by Inkling, and you don't have anything like big to make up for it. IU Trent, thank you for the 41 months. Belmonts, I'll qualify here too. This matchup can be quite annoying if you don't know how to play it. Like it's clearly one of these matchups that you have to learn. But once you've learned it, a good matchup for Inkling. I do think Belmonts are a little bit underrated overall. Like, it's a much harder character to play great than people give it credit for, I think. Mainly because, like, your aerials and stuff, you need to, like, angle, like, your fair and backer and stuff. So you need to be very precise with this character. And since you need to be very precise, once again, Inkling, small target, good on the ground, really comes into play here. For example, you can dash under the F-tilt. So, like, being able to dash under moves is a great way to, like, get in on your opponent. And Belmont's not that good in close quarters. They do have some okay escape options, like the down tilt, up out of shield, But once you apply pressure and you like get that first hit, they have such a hard time coming back. And offstage, Inkling have like Fair, for example, long-lasting move, so that's really good against like tether type of recoveries. So, and yeah, as also in this category, like up throw up air is like good against these characters as well. Techno, last time I played against Nitro a little bit on stream last time I was in LA, but not too much, not too much. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at the matchup, but like some of the matchups I feel like I've played enough and I'm like, yeah, this is like what it should be like once both players are really good at the matchup. But I can already see it, despite not being that good myself in the matchup yet. It still feels like clear winning. He is man. Thank you for the sub, buddy. Welcome to the Brotherhood. This matchup I honestly haven't played that much, so I could maybe be a little bit wrong here. But I played it a tiny bit, and it sure as hell feel like it should qualify for this tier. Yeah. Once again, broken record. A lot of the same things I've already said here applies to Instant Aurora as well. So don't really feel like we need to go over them again. Also, this category, we're probably not going to put anyone here. I feel like it's unnecessary. Yeah, this is just like... yeah. Winning by quite a bit to a lot. Alright, I think we might be done with this category for now and move over to slightly winning. Now, let's do this. Let's do this. I know I said I probably wouldn't, but let's do this. I feel like it's probably going to be good to have more tiers to separate the characters. I feel like it would be too few tiers otherwise with winning. Alright, so let's move over to the next category. Damn, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm confused. This is always like... I wanted to have like a kind of a set amount of tiers, but I'm a little bit confused how many I was like having in mind beforehand. Yeah, Leon versus Cosmos, but to be fair, it was like one set. It was one set. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright. Now, alright, let's settle for this. Let's settle for this. Yeah, sorry for the confusion. Sorry for the confusion. So, winning category, Falco. Falco I would put in this tier. I mean, he is solid damage output, but offstage he's bad. Also hard time dealing with the backer. The one thing he does have that is quite good is that he doesn't fall victim for the up upper too often, which is good. But hard time getting out of disadvantage for sure. And honestly, I feel like the better people get at this game, the more Fox and Falco's recoveries are going to be shown like to be more exploitable than a lot of people think. Like, honestly, I feel like Spacer recoveries, it's like one camp that like truly do not understand like the weakness of them, but then you have the other camp that believe that every time they're off the level, they die because they have never learned how to recover and they are used to getting back for free. So it's like two camps there, but it is a quite devastating weakness. Even though, of course, in this game, you need to hit people over and over and over to actually get the kill. So at low damages, it's hard to actually secure a kill. I feel like Corrin would probably qualify in this tier. One of the more disappointing characters in the game for me. This character is just so slow. Yeah, it's like a lot of characters can overwhelm Corrin. Like, once you get in, it's also very hard for the character to get out of disadvantage. Recovery is improved a little bit, but it's still very exploitable. And you have a hard time killing with this character too. Like, you don't have like any like real kill confirms in that sort of way as other characters. Pin is significantly less safe. Yeah, this character struggles a lot. And Inkling, since Inkling is so good on the ground, parry game against sword characters is really strong. And the thing that makes it even stronger, I would say, is that for some sword characters, you can bait out parries with grab and get like a decent follow-up. Corrin doesn't really have that either, which means that going for parries against Corrin is extra strong. Cloud, probably. Yeah, I'll probably put Cloud here too. One of the easiest characters in the game to 2-frame. Inkling having a great down tilt for 2-framing, very good. Down smash also pretty good for 2-framing. It's hard to kill with Cloud, and his limit, you only have like a 15-second timer on it. And Inkling is one of the characters better at stalling out these type of like meters. You can go under the stage, for example. Also, big upper window here again. And great ground movement, great parries against sword fighters. So yeah, solid matchup for Inkling. Wii Fit Trainer I will put here as well. A little bit the same issue as Cloud, where Inkling is very good at, against deep breathing, so you can like relatively easily avoid it. This matchup, I feel like it's a lot of like camp, and you should be fine. Like, the only real thing you have to worry about is deep breathing, but Inkling is very good at avoiding that. Inkling's down tilt is quite good against like some of the ledge play Wii Fit Trainer is doing with the volleyball, football, whatever you want to call it. So that's pretty good too. Yeah, solid matchup all around. One of the characters I've actually played against in tournaments quite a few times now. For some reason, I always end up playing as Wii Fits. Falcon, I'll put in this tier. He has quite a hard time dealing with backer. Like, honestly, a lot of characters do. Yeah, hard time dealing with the backer. Bad off stage. A lot of moves having a hard time hitting Inkling on the ground. Also, yeah, solid matchup for Inkling. Also, like his like down air, for example, for 2-framing, since Inkling can mix up the recovery timing so much, it's also like a hard thing to land against Inkling. Harder than some other characters for sure. Not personally a big fan of the matchup, but I feel like Ike should qualify here. I don't know, I feel like Inkling is relatively good at getting in against Ike. Not like as good as like some other like rushdown characters like Fox and whatnot, but still decent at getting in against Ike. Main plan to beat Ike is honestly to punish him jumping before the nair comes out. Inkling quite good at that since the character is relatively fast. If you do get parries against the nair, sometimes you can't get a punish, but close up you always have the jab, so that's good for damage. You can go far off stage without too much risk. And also, as we said a little bit with Falcon, You can mix up your recovery timing so much that 2-framing with Ike is actually like quite a bit harder than it is against many other characters. So that's also a good thing. And big up upper window does not hurt. Does not hurt. Probably put Wolf here as well. Like honestly, like Wolf, like as I like tried to say earlier, every character in the same tier doesn't mean that they exactly lose equally as much. Wolf is like, yeah, he's a bit better than these other characters, but I'm not sure if I would put it like high enough to put into this category. He might be, It's like kind of whatever. Yeah, Inkling good in this matchup. Wolf not having too much range. Combo food also up for upper. Great offstage, lingering hitbox with fair, so that's really good against the side B. You have good 2 frames. Solid matchup. Probably among Wolf's rougher matchups. But then again, still not impossible by any means. Not the biggest fan or the best against Ryu and Ken, but I feel like it probably should qualify here too. They suffer quite a bit of like not amazing range either, so also characters that struggles against the backer a lot, and also really struggles off stage, and Inkling is super good against that. Also, Inkling have quite a few multi-hit moves, up air and down tilt, so that's also really good against Ken and Ryu. Like a lot of like moves with a single hit. I don't remember what the movie's called now. I'm sure people know which one I'm talking about. When I think it's like, wait, chat, help me out. What's the move I'm talking about called now again? Then depends on who you ask. But I think Inkling is still super good. The focus thing. All right, let's call it the focus thing. Yeah, the focus, like it loses to multi-hit moves. So Inkling having down tilt and up air is really good because yeah, focus attack when you're coming from above. Quite a few people use focus attack to get down, but having up air is just like straight up beating it. So it's super good. And on the ground, if they try to like, you know, make a read, down tilt also beat out the focus attack. So that's also like good things for Inkling to keep in mind. But up air and down tilt is like a bit stronger in those matchups than in a lot of other ones. Youngling, I would say, is a winning matchup. Youngling's neutral is actually quite solid in the matchup. But his biggest issue is that Inkling's fair just straight up beats his up B. So that's quite annoying. But I could see with a more optimized, like super patient play away game and never try to go for like, you know, stay close to the edge. I could see maybe Youngling moving up to this tier. Toon Link probably be here in this tier as well. Similar reasons as Toon Link. Feels like a little bit easier to handle Toon Link, I would say. His projectile game doesn't feel as massive, so feels a little bit easier to get in against Toon Link. Banjo would probably qualify here too. His side B actually can be really annoying. It's extra good against Inkling because Banjo's side B basically makes him immune to getting edge guarded. You can't edge guard it. It just simply goes through everything. So that's quite bad in the matchup. And since Inkling is like Inkling in a lot of matchups likes to jump and back air, but it's quite risky against the side B. So against Banjo, you need to stay like a little bit more grounded than you do in some matchups, so you don't run the risk of like them reading the jump side B. It's quite strong in this matchup, so you gotta be careful with like mindlessly just jumping. But besides that, everything else is pretty good for Inkling in the matchup. Besides the side B, like off stage and on stage, I mean. Oh yeah. Dr. Mario needs to be in this tier. Yeah, mainly he's just like a worse version of Mario. His pills can be a bit annoying to deal with. He's decent at killing Inkling for sure, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, just a worse version of Mario. His combo game is like so much weaker, and it really adds up a big difference. But yeah, I think we're gonna be done with this tier. Actually, I might move up Wolf here. I feel like Wolf, yeah, he probably should be here instead. Just looking at the rest of the cast, I'm like, yeah, you know, Wolf actually does quite a bit better against Inkling than those. So yeah, I'm gonna move into this slightly winning territory. Let's see. Chrom, I'll put as a slightly winning matchup. One thing that's quite interesting that some Inkling mains might not know about Chrom, but if Chrom upbeats from underneath, you actually, on many like ranges, can throw out a super early down smash and you just straight up hits Chrom. And since down smash is such an active move, you don't even have to time it that well for it to work. So that's really good actually. Overall, I think Inkling does fine against most sword fighters due to like ground game, good parries. Also like Chrom, a lot of his moves are like solo hits, which means parries becomes easier, obviously. Like if you have a character like Pikachu, for example, like a lot of multi-hit moves, unless you like parry like 8-9 hits in a row, it's like, well, might as well not even do it. But a lot of solo hits, so that means easier to play the parry game against Chrom. Pretty good combos against the character too. Pretty good upper range. So no, I think yeah, slightly winning. Same thing with Roy. Roy has a bit of an easier time coming back to the stage, which actually makes quite a bit of a difference in this matchup. Against Roy though, you actually can use Splat Bomb and up B to cover many different up B timings. So that's a quite interesting way of dealing with Roy's recovery. But besides that, a lot of similarities. Neutral game is similar. Roy's a bit better at killing though, especially when you're playing well and you're getting your setups. So that's a big advantage. But then sometimes, you know, spacing not always on point, and Chrom is just like more consistent in that regard. Bowser, I'll probably put here. A lot of people refer to Cosmos versus Leone, where Cosmos got absolutely destroyed. But I think it was a combination of Cosmos playing very bad, Leone playing very good, and Cosmos also playing the matchup incorrectly. In this matchup, you need to remember to not rapid jab, since Bowser can tough guy through it. You actually can many times use triple jab though, so you get like the kick at the end, which is actually quite good at mid relatively high percentages, because you can create new knockdown scenarios. So you still get the advantage of like dashing in jab, which is a very quick option, but you just have to remember to time it so you get the kick. This matchup is a lot of like splat bombs, splatter shot, and back air. You really want to like take it, you know, like more slow pace and safe, and then once you get an opening, then you go ham. super good combo game against Bowser. Down tilt, amazing for 2-framing. Down smash, quite good for 2-framing. Splat bomb and down tilt is really hard to get through for Bowser when he's off stage. In both your fair and backer, he just straight up beats his up B. But Bowser though, since he can't off guy, that's good in the matchup obviously. So rapid jab doesn't work. He kills really early. And even though Inkling has an up up air, you still kill Bowser really late. Even with up air, you often kill it like 160. And that's like a pretty early kill. So if you play really, really good, you do win. But it can easily snowball where you die. Bowser also his fire 2 frames Inkling automatically. So you will always eat quite a bit of damage in those scenarios. One thing also that's good for Inkling in the matchup that I didn't mention is that if you shield his up B, you can actually drop shield roller because he's stuck in so much lag. So that's also something to keep in mind. That sometimes if you like maybe backer and they try to up B out of shield, but you do the backer super low, you might be able to like squeeze in like a buffered shield and then shield up B and then you get a roller. So that can be a good way to close out stocks sometimes. Hero, I'll probably put here. I hate this character, by the way, but I guess everyone knows that already. I could see this matchup being a little bit better than slightly winning, but some of the issues I have with the matchup that I think makes Hero a bit better in the matchup is that his zoom basically like removes edge guarding in many aspects, and you're so likely to get zoom, and if you're good at like reading the menu fast, like you will get zoom so many times. So that removes a lot of Inkling's edge guards, which is quite bad. And Inkling, more so than probably any other good character, will get these stocks where you simply can't kill your opponent. And I feel like playing the longer RNG game against Hero is not what you want to do. That's why I feel like, yeah, characters like Hero and honestly, probably Lucario as well. It's like another one of these characters, like, on paper it should be good, but many times in tournaments, like, you will get these like super long stocks, so you might get more screwed over by RNG. Against Lucario, you might be more screwed over by Aura. So I mean, like, if Inkling is playing like super good, then these two characters might go down here. But in a more realistic setting, I think this is like more common for the matchup. Yeah, issue with Hero is the RNG, but what I'm saying is that since many times it can be a struggle to kill, it's more likely that, you know, more RNGs will be, you know, in play and higher chance to get screwed over. Or by Lucario, like higher chance that he survives to like 190 and just takes a stock very early in the process. So against these characters, you really want to like just get rid of them as soon as possible. But Inkling can't always do that. Ness, I would probably put in this category. Ness is actually quite annoying, more annoying than some people might think. One thing that's very annoying in this matchup is that his down smash, you can like put it over the ledge, so it automatically 2 frames Inkling, and it's a strong move as well, so you die quite early from it. So that's really annoying. So recovery wise, Inkling actually is not good recovery wise in this matchup, and Nessus Fair is actually really good at dealing with back air too. Back throw kills insanely early. This is also a matchup where you need to be really on point with your 2 framing, because it's going to be a lot of scenarios where Ness tries to mix up his recovery air dodges to the ledge. But if you have your down tilts on point, it's really rough for Ness too. So it's a very volatile matchup. A lot of like quick stocks can easily happen. Also surprisingly small upper window. Palu, I'll put in this category too. I think Inkling, yeah, Inkling has like a slight edge. I feel like most areas are very even, but having that kill throw being a pretty big against Palu, I think is the main reason. If you didn't have that kill throw, it would probably be slightly favored Palu. Palu actually has pretty good edge guarding versus Inkling, better so than most characters. Nair stays out forever, so you kind of like fall. Like if you have the edge here, you kind of like just fall down with the Nair. Kind of the same thing as Wario can do with down air, and it's really hard to get around that. So that's something to keep in mind when you're playing as Palu. But most areas, I would say, pretty even. But I think the fact that you have the upper like significantly helps with getting more secured kills. Luigi, I'll probably put here as well, slightly winning. Also, like one of these matchups that maybe could go down to winning. Like, you have like a pretty good neutral game, you have good offstage game, but sometimes you are also not gonna get these stocks, and you get Luigi to like 190, 200, and Luigi's punish game is actually really devastating in this game. So it's another one of these matchups you really gotta make sure to play on point. But yeah, Luigi, yeah, he does fine in the matchup, I think. And I got to play a session with Elegant, and I know he's played Cosmos in tournament too. And I think Elegant said he thinks the matchup is even, which I could see as well. I could see any range between these three tiers for the Inkling Luigi matchup. But for now, I'm settling on slightly winning. Link, I'll put in this category. Most areas quite even too. Splat Bombs are super good in this matchup. Splat Bomb is really good at covering Link's uppies to the ledge. So it's one of these matchups where you're actually going to get the most usefulness of the Splat Bomb. So that's very, very good. In this matchup, you gotta make sure to like keep in mind like the things from Link that are safe. I see like quite a few Inklings falling for like boomerang stuff that is like more safe than you would imagine. But once you know like what's safe, what's not safe, I would say yeah, slight winning. Also, I realized I haven't ranked some characters that should be down here, so I'll probably go back a little bit. I'll probably put Puff here. I think actually Puff, and maybe even Kirby. I don't know. Nah, Kirby probably down here. But I actually think Puff and Kirby do surprisingly okay against Inkling. Like, they still lose, but I feel like they do surprisingly okay. They both have mini jumps, so they're great off stage against Inkling. Some of the characters with the best edge cards against Inkling. And they can both like pretty well contest the backer too. So I think these characters actually are surprisingly good against Inkling. I think it was the Japanese Puff that took a game of Cosmos too when they played, and it looked pretty scary. DDD I haven't played that much against, so yeah, it's a bit hard for me to rank this character, but I guess he would fall here. I think he most likely would do better than the other heavies. Partly because I feel like his ledge trapping is going to be more dangerous with Gordos. I feel like he's going to be harder to kill than any other of the heavies. His recovery is significantly better. Like the other characters, like the DK, the Bowsers, the Ganons, you can kind of like send them off the level, and it's very high chance you get the kill. But not against DDD. This character, yeah, his recovery is like not that easy to deal with by any means. And as I said, better ledge trapping than quite a few of the heavies. Probably, like Bowser still have really good ledge trapping too, but still. So yeah, Diddy will probably qualify here. Isabelle. This is also a hard matchup for me to rank. I played a little bit against Isabelle at the early stages of this game, and it does feel like a solid winning matchup where you need to be aware of all the like traps and stuff Isabelle has, but once you do, it feels like a pretty solid matchup. You just gotta make sure not to get frustrated. I feel like you have the advantage in probably every area. Killing can be a little bit annoying, due to like a non-existent upper range, more or less. But yeah, play solid, play also patient, make sure to not use Splat Bomb since they can just pocket it. But overall, should be a winning matchup. Same thing with Lucas. Lucas, not as hard to deal with as Ness for Inkling. Doesn't have the same like smash to use deal with up E to the ledge, which is huge. A little bit easier hitboxes to get around. Still has the issue of being very bad off stage. You shouldn't die as early to Lucas on average, I feel like. So yeah, I would say winning matchup against Lucas. Actually, I'm thinking about ICs and Piranha Plant. I'm like, should I even rank these matchups? Actually, I probably shouldn't. I actually have not played offline against either of these characters. Thinking about it. So yeah, sorry about that. Then what else in the slightly winning category? I think Joker, slightly winning. Everything in this matchup is fine for Inkling, I think. Neutral is fine. Killing him, pretty good upper percentage. You actually can up B out of the upper if you have Persona mode, but then you're going to be in a really awful position. So, yeah. And then if he doesn't have Persona mode, you can't up B out of it. Edge guard wise, you're having a really good edge guard against both Persona mode and not. Good 2 frames against it as well. Pretty decent at stalling against Arson. As I said, you can go under the level with Inkling, so that's quite good. You can, if you splatter shot pretty close by and they shield, that can be used to stall a few seconds of Arson as well, which is decent. You need to be careful with Splat Bombs though, because of down B when not in Persona mode. You don't want to give him like that much meter. The only issue can also be that when you do not get your kills, you might have to fight Arson twice on a stock. It happens sometimes. So that can be like the downside of the matchup for sure. But overall, I would say Inkling wins the matchup slightly. I would probably say CSS is slight winning, maybe even, but nah, probably slightly winning. CSS has a hard time hitting low, like small characters, so Inkling clearly benefits from that. The biggest problem with the matchup for me is that it feels like you can't really do much off the level, which is like one of Inkling's strengths, but it doesn't really work against Zero Suit. Her recovery is really underrated, if you ask me. Her flip kick is absolutely nuts. Marth, I'll put a slightly winning. I think Marth does fine in the matchup. Like, sure, Lucina's going to be more consistent and better overall than Marth, but he still has, like, you know, solid neutral, He's really hard to edge guard. You're not gonna get like much in terms of edge guards against Marth. I actually think Marth and Lucina at times edge guards Inkling better than vice versa. And I think Proto in many matchups have shown good usage of how you can edge guard with Lucina, so it does apply to Marth too. But I guess what gives Inkling the edge in the matchup is like the inconsistency of Marth in comparison to Lucina. That sometimes you're just gonna live like surprisingly long against Marth. Do we have anyone else that should be in this tier? Oh yeah, Greninja should be in this tier. Greninja should be in this tier. Overall, feels like a pretty even matchup. But slight edge for Inkling. Playing neutral game, fine. Like, Greninja is quite fast, but unlike Fox, I feel like he can't really like apply as much pressure. He can't like force Inkling into shield as much, so it's not nearly as scary. Inkling also surprisingly decent at dealing with Greninja's recovery. Decent up for upper window. You gotta be careful about his down tilt though. It's actually quite good and can threat Inkling's ground game quite a bit. Mega Man, I would probably put as slightly winning. I will be honest and say I haven't played the matchup too much, but I've played a little bit, and it always feels like Inkling have a little bit of an advantage. Gotta be, you know, not, how do you say, you gotta be like a little bit patient. Like Mega Man is gonna try to, you know, throw all of his stuff at you, but if you don't get like frustrated by that, I think you're in a good spot. Mega Man's parries don't really give him too much against Inkling either, so more backers quite fine in the matchup. Off stage is quite vulnerable, not as bad as people say, but still. Is it more characters I haven't ranked that I should? Actually, Bowser Jr. might go to this tier too. I actually have never played Bowser Jr. offline. Not sure about Zelda and Meta Knight. I mean, I'll probably put them here. I'm sure Inkling beats both, but I feel like I don't have like, I haven't played against the characters enough. But yeah, it's still 2 winning matchups. So if you want to, you could put them anywhere of the winning matchups because that's where they belong. I just don't know exactly well enough. I did play against a Pac-Man offline, but that was like 3 hours of playing a character. It doesn't really give you as much knowledge. Like some people, especially on this site called Reddit.com, they think playing 2 matches in a matchup, you have a lot of experience. I'm sure, you know, based on the comments there, that qualifies as a lot of knowledge, because if you have 2 matches, that means you probably have roughly 2 more matches than the average person there. But in my world, I wouldn't say, you know, that little qualifies. But that's just me. That's just me. Even matchups. I'll put Mario as an even matchup. I feel like pretty much every area is like really, really even in this matchup. Mario can at times have like a little bit better combo game. But Inkling can most of the time make that up with like better offstage game. But you need to be careful because Mario's cape can actually be incredibly annoying and kill you early. So you gotta be careful about that. This is probably gonna surprise people, but I think Diddy Kong is actually an even matchup. I think neutral-wise, he does completely fine against Inkling. His neutral game is still really good in this game. Perry Banana can actually be very good as well in this matchup many times. He has more consistent kills than Inkling in the matchup. So even though Inkling is a much better character overall, I think the Diddy matchup is even. It could be slight winning, but yeah, I'm actually leaning towards even. Oh yeah, we'll have Samus and Sheik too. Spriggs 2, thank you for the 39 months. Yeah, we have Samus and Sheik too. Yeah, I'll probably put Sheik here. We go back a little bit now, but it happens. It's so many characters, so when I look at the list, it's like sometimes I miss characters. But Sheik I'll put here. Sheik is a solid character, but really struggles to kill. And if you have a character that struggles to kill even more than Inkling does, in the matchups Inkling struggles to kill, you know it's rough. And Inkling actually doesn't struggle to kill in this particular matchup. You have a big upper window. Sure, your offstage game is going to be more neglected by Sheik's great recovery, but that's totally fine. Neutral game is fine. Dash and jab, dash and grab. Like it's one of the characters that like semi reliably can whiff punish Sheik, so that's good. And consistent kills. So Samus will probably qualify here too. I will say that I haven't played this matchup too much, but a lot of the projectiles are quite laggy, and I think Inkling can take great advantage of that. So it's gonna be hard for Samus to like keep Inkling out. Also probably another surprising one, but I actually think the Duck Hounds matchup might be even. I think Raito actually put it as a winning matchup for Duck Hound, but it feels pretty even. It is really hard for Inkling to use and utilize your movement on the ground against all the projectiles and all the zoning the Duck Hound can put up. Upper doesn't work in this matchup. I think it's like a 1% or whatever, 1 or 2. It's super small. So you're practically never gonna be able to use it. And in some scenarios, Duck Hound can even like, you could either like pretty much like self-damage or like just making absolutely sure to not get grabbed at 1%. And then some stages is never gonna kill because the upper chart is based on like FD, which is the lowest ceiling. Or tied lowest ceiling of the legal stages. So yeah, I think the matchup is pretty even. Inkling can utilize stuff off stage, especially when Duckham can't put up the can to like kind of protect himself. So that's where you can strike with Inkling for sure. Then we're going to go to this tier, matchups that could be anywhere between slightly losing to slightly winning. I'm just not really sure how to rank them. And some of these matchups I have played quite a lot. Fox I will put here. Fox, his rushdown game is really hard for Inkling to deal with. Inkling is very bad out of shield, especially when you have to fight with your front. So that's quite rough in the matchup. Fox's parry game is like one of the characters that actually can like relatively reliably get punishes from parry against Inkling, so that's very good too. The main issue is that him off stage is quite bad. A lot of the times, how you should edgeguard Fox if you want to do it properly is that you kind of position yourself in like the height of the side B, and if they side B, you react with an aerial, and if he up B, you jump out and then hit him. A lot of people don't know this, but they say like, oh, edgeguard for free, but they have no idea how to do it. But that's normally how you want to do it. Because a lot of Foxes gets away with like mindlessly spamming side B, which I don't understand how they get allowed to do it, but I mean, yeah, that's how it works for a lot of people. Lucina, I'll put in this category too. Could be anywhere between 45-55 and 55-45, or yeah, even. Clearly qualifies for that as well. Better than Marth in the regard that you get much more like consistent kills, which I think is very important against a character like Inkling. And most areas of this matchup feels very even. Neutral feels even. Offstage game feels pretty even. Everything feels pretty even. Pichu, I'll put in this tier too. It's hard to say. Like, yeah, I could see either character win. Good things in this matchup is that you can actually very reliably, especially like the second uppy, I feel like, you can 2-frame. Pichu's very light, so even when you get these stocks when you have a hard time killing, at least you're not gonna get Pichu to like the 200s and stuff that happens in many other matchups. So that's pretty good. That's like one of Inkling's main weaknesses. Like, gets reduced by quite a bit. But Pichu's still really strong punish game. And a hard target to hit. Backer gets harder to like utilize against small characters. Can't always like just like throw it out early. Pikachu, I feel like the same boat. Probably more likely to be on the losing end than Pichu, since 2-framing is not as easy. No self damage, so that also adds up. The only issue Pikachu has over Pichu is that killing can sometimes be a little bit harder, but still a matchup that, yeah, I could see anywhere here. Probably losing, but I haven't played it quite enough to say confident. Slightly losing matchups, I'll put Game & Watch there. Game & Watch, really annoying matchup actually for Inkling. Splat Bombs you can't use because of Bucket, which means that your ledge trapping also gets worse. Your edge guards gets worse. Backer, Game & Watch can actually up you out of shield very often. Upper do not exist, so you can't get the kills like that. I actually feel like Game & Watch wins every area of this matchup a little bit. I feel like he wins neutral a little bit, he wins edge guards, he wins recovery, he wins ledge trapping. Yeah, I think this is a losing matchup for Inkling. Not impossible, but slightly losing. Probably surprisingly, but I put Yoshi here as well. Great Nair out of shield, also very good to deal with the backer in many scenarios. No up for up air, which is pretty good too. Pretty good recovery, so Inkling's offstage game is like not nearly as good as it is in most matchups. But Inkling, like, neutral game for the most part is still pretty fine, but it's gonna be many of these stocks where you just can't kill and it snowballs. Shulk, I'll probably put a slightly losing. Flaming Ninja, I think for the 4 months with Twitch Prime. Yeah, Shulk, I'll put a slightly losing. Honestly, like, really hard to deal with this character. One of the better characters at edgeguarding Inkling too. His uppy is very good at covering so many different timings. Shield Monado, great against Rapid Jab, great against up air. So a lot of your traditional punishes simply don't work. So yeah, that's a pretty hard matchup. Oh yeah, I forgot. Snake, I should put it here. I didn't see Snake until now. But Snake, I would say slightly winning. I'm not that good at the matchup, but I think Inkling still wins. I think you have all the tools to get in against him, all the tools to kill him relatively early. But it's a matchup I need to improve on. But I think Inkling wins. And when Snake can't go very high up, Inkling is like one of the characters best at punishing him off the level too. Then I think we're gonna move over to the losing. So a little bit more than slightly. So yeah, it's gonna be all the remaining characters are gonna be here, but we are gonna talk about them all. We can start with Olimar. Olimar, he's quite good at like, you know, slowly but surely add on damage. Hard to kill, surprisingly hard to kill for his weight. You can't really up-rubber this character, so that's annoying too. In my experience, one of the harder characters to actually land roller against as well. Yeah, this matchup feels quite rough, to be honest. It's hard to kill, but you slowly but surely gets added on damage on you. Neutral feels tricky. Everything in this matchup actually feels tricky. Rob, I will put here as well. Surprisingly hard to kill. He's like the only very big character that you actually can't up-rubber reliably. It's like a 7 or 8% window. All his projectiles really, really good at like dealing with Inkling and neutral. A lot of setups kills incredibly early by the ledge too. He's one of the hardest characters to like whiff punish. You can't really whiff punish his nair. You have to like super respect it. So that's very annoying as well. And you also like if you try to parry the nair, sometimes if they throw out the bear, it's just like really good as a mix-up as well. Edge guards don't work against this character. His recovery is incredibly good. I think Rob has, yeah, winning matchup for sure. Wario, I would say your neutral game against Wario might be better than any of the other characters in this category. Like, I would say neutral is fine. Inkling actually might even win neutral slightly, but killing is going to be rough. And that means that you're going to get clutched on more often. It's really, really hard for Inkling to avoid the waft setups for that long, since it's gonna snowball into these stocks where you can't kill. Wario's recovery surprisingly hard to deal with. His downer is super good at edge guarding you. Without the waft, Inkling would win, but with the waft, I would say Wario wins the matchup for sure. Or maybe, honestly, without it, maybe it wouldn't be like going that drastic, but it would make a bigger difference than in most matchups. Peach, honestly, like, neutral game is also quite fine in this matchup. Peach is not really the fastest character, so like Splat Bomb, Splatter Shot, Backer, they're all good tools. But Peach out-punishes Inkling. Also pretty good at edge guarding Inkling, relatively speaking, floating by the ledge with aerials. You can just like throw out long-lasting moves and you straight up add on a lot of damage. Parry down tilt is really, really scary. And also, yeah, pretty small up-upper windows, so not going to happen too often in this matchup. But still fine. Still fine matchup. PT, I would also put here. I think Squirtle, like, at least goes even in neutral game with Inkling, but out-punishes by a lot. So that's very big. PT have swap, so up-upper is practically not going to be a thing. You can also use it to get out of combo sometimes, so it's like 50-50. Like, of course, you can read the swap and punish, but no other character have, like, a swap to, like, get out of combos. So that's really, really annoying, too. And when up-upper kills Squirtle, if you swap to Ivysaur, you don't die. So you can always, like, make sure to not die from it. Ivysaur, I think, also has like a, you know, perfectly fine neutral against Inkling. Great range, good projectile. His downer is really, really good. Of course, you can mix up the timing, so you're not going to get the downer that often against up B, but you will on occasion get it. You will on occasion get it for sure. In Charizard, the thing is, if you only have to play Charizard, sure, it would be like good for Inkling. but you don't get to play against him when you can combo him, and you get to play against him when it comes to killing, and killing Charizard is actually a pain in the ass sometimes. So I feel like similar to some of these other matchups, the damage given that you need to give your opponent compared to the one you can take is just such a massive difference. And I don't think the neutral is good enough to compensate for it. With that said, I don't think any of these losing matchups or potentially losing matchups are impossible. And a lot of like the winning matchups, I don't feel like, oh, like you can't beat Inkling either. But yeah, this list is more to give an idea of how I look at like Inkling's matchups. So yeah, don't read into it too much. But this is how I currently feel about the characters. Hopefully next time we're going to be able to rank some more characters as well. I wish I could do all of them, but I feel like I haven't played some of these matchups. Some of them like not at all, and some of them not enough. But yeah, please let me know, everyone, what do you guys think? What do you guys think are Inkling's worst matchups? And not only that, but also why.